Today, a community says goodbye to a State College police officer who died while on duty this week. We take a closer look at his life.
And meet a local couple with a unique tradition as they celebrate Valentine's Day after 57 years of marriage. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Colin Bradley.
And I'm Megan Caffrey. Today, the State College Police Department is saying goodbye to one of its own. Family, friends, and law enforcement came together this morning at the First Baptist Church in Bellefonte for Officer Robert Bradley's funeral. He died on Monday at the age of 43. Bradley was found unresponsive in his home while on duty. He was rushed to Mount Nittany Medical Center, but was pronounced dead. Officer Bradley was known and respected throughout the area. Reporter Samantha Lance gives you a closer look at who he was.
It was a heartbreaking week for the State College Police Department as they mourned the loss of Officer Robert Bradley. They say he was not only an asset to the department, but to the community.
We always want to make sure we're hiring people that are coming to our community and want to police this community for the right reasons. We don't want somebody that's just interested in catching the bad guys and arresting people. We want people who are willing to be problem solvers in the community and care about the people that they're providing service to. And that is exactly what Bob was all 19 years with us.
Officer Bradley was always very active in the community. He spent time here in the hallways of State College High School, where he occasionally served as a school security officer. Chief King says Bradley's ability to interact with all types of people, no matter what their age or background, made him perfect for the job.
He also was very good working with young people and figuring out how to solve problems. And so that's the type of person that we're looking for. His time in the school was very rewarding, and I think very much appreciated not only by the school district but by the students that he provided service to. And he really excelled at that.
Along with working in the schools, Bradley also took a special interest in helping people with mental health disorders. During his 19 years in the police department, he also served on the crisis intervention team. His death has touched many lives across the area. In State College, I'm Samantha Lance for the Center County Report.
The Center County coroner has confirmed Officer Bradley died of a stroke. He's survived by his wife, 3 young children, and adult stepson.
And we're going to see more bitterly cold weather and dangerous wind chills this weekend, especially on Sunday. Meteorologist Stefano DiPietro is live at Innovation Park with an update. Stefano?
Hey Colin, it was a very cold start to our day here today, and things are only going to get colder as we move into the weekend. Let me give you a little bit of the details of what's going to be dealing with over the weekend freeze. The temperatures, the daytime high is going to be well below 32 degrees, and as we get into the overnight hours, we're going to be dealing with sub-zero temperatures overnight, and those wicked winds, they'll be howling out of the west about 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusts as high as 40 sometimes. And with those winds, they're experiencing some very dangerous cold conditions. Hypothermia, frostbite, a real concern over the next couple of days. So any exposed skin, you're going to want to keep covered if you have to go out. And if you can resist going outside, that's going to be my best advice for you as we move into the weekend. Well, that's all I have from out here in the cold. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Stefano. We'll check in with him later. He's really toughing it out there. And on cold days like these, Hearts for the Homeless helps people in State College, and it's been almost a year since they moved into the new location. Reporter Denise Harris stopped by to see how the center is doing.
Hearts for the Homeless provides a warm place for people to stay during these cold winter days. The shelter collects clothes and money through fundraisers and donations.
So far, we're all private donations, so everything comes from just people in the community. We're not a 501c3 yet, so we can't apply for grants.
When we stopped by, clients gathered in a room and shared conversation while enjoying a cup of coffee. Founder Jenny Poorman and her volunteers work hard to help clients get a job and get their life back on track.
The goal when we opened was to remove one person from homelessness to living in a stable environment with a job and a healthy lifestyle, and I think currently our number is 40 in the last year.
It's been open for a year, and Poorman is working to create a full live-in center where clients can stay longer to help rebuild their lives. Between the hours of 9 and 6, anyone who is looking for a warm place to stay can always turn to Hearts for the Homeless. Not only are clients finding guidance and shelter, but they're also building strong bonds. Visitors build friendships between each other and volunteers. Dylan Peters talked about getting to know Jenny Poorman.
More of a really close friendship. I mean, I can go to her to anything, anything from just needing somebody to talk to, just to I don't know, just to laugh.
In State College, I'm Denise Harris for the Center County Report.
And we have some good news coming from that story. Dylan recently found a full-time job and is now looking for a new apartment.
The ads are staying on the sides of some CATA buses. That decision came down this week. 4 buses have been wrapped in advertisements since last January. Now that the trial period for these ads is almost up, CATA asked its board of directors for feedback. On Wednesday, the board approved the program for another 3 years. Even so, CATA Public Relations Director Jacqueline Sheeter says not everyone is happy with the large advertisements.
There were a couple of concerns that arose, the main one being the aesthetics of the buses and the branding of the buses. It's important, of course, for us to be able to maintain those buses looking like CATA buses.
Sheeter says they will limit the number of ad buses to 12, which is a small part of their 71 buses. The cost to wrap a bus is about $30,000, including installation. And out of that $30,000 cost, CATA only gets about half of those profits.
And Penn State will soon see millions of dollars in football bowl revenue. The Big Ten now says the university will be eligible to receive its share of bowl money starting this year. That comes after a recent NCAA decision to drop the sanctions and restore Joe Paterno's wins. Also, a new poll finds a majority of Pennsylvanians surveyed are in favor of putting the Paterno statue back on display. The Quinnipiac University poll shows 59% agree with putting the statue back up, 25% oppose it, and the rest are undecided.
It's Valentine's weekend, and tomorrow is filled with roses, chocolate, and teddy bears. But after 57 years of marriage, it might be time to mix it up from the normal traditions. This Valentine's Day, couples will surprise each other with flowers and special gifts, but for Charlie and Carol Pitts of State College, they enjoy a tradition that's a little different.
We go over to Wegmans and read cards. And we pick out a card. I pick one for him, he picks one for me. And we read them and we put them back on the shelf. Then we go over to McDonald's, have a candlelight dinner. It's fun.
It's different.
That's the one that's going to get you.
Yeah, there you go. You knocked my socks off. Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, wait. Happy Valentine's Day to my main squeeze.
You're going to squeeze me?
That's good. Okay. That was good.
While most couples booked reservations weeks in advance or are going to be waiting in busy lines Valentine's Day night, the Pitts will be right here at McDonald's, enjoying a candlelight dinner and a quarter pounder. But for this couple married nearly 60 years, Valentine's Day doesn't just come once a year.
It's doing the obvious because you do it all the time.
In State College, I'm Megan Caffrey for the Center County Report.
What a cute couple. There's nothing quite like young love, is there?
I know, they're great, really sweet.
Well, coming up, more on the cold weather this weekend. Plus, a retired Penn State professor looks back on his role in a historic event a half-century ago and see how one family overcame a nightmare with help from Penn State's Thon.
It's called the Mississippi Summer Project, a campaign to register as many African American voters as possible, and it's marking its 50th anniversary.
And today, as we continue our series of stories on Black History Month, reporter Megan Swikowski talks with a Penn Stater about his involvement with the movement.
A half-century ago, the agricultural town of Leland, Mississippi was embedded deep in Southern culture and racism. Charles Dumas, now a retired Penn State professor, went to Leland in 1964 as part of the Mississippi Summer Project. The project began as an effort to register people to vote and educate African Americans about their civil rights in freedom schools. But in the early stages of the project, 3 volunteers, Michael Schwerner, James Chaney, and Andrew Goodman, were jailed, then later kidnapped, and shot to death.
It became clear that the Ku Klux Klan and the other white terrorist organizations that existed were not just going to kill black people. They would kill white people. They would kill young white students.
With those 3 deaths, the project's focus shifted. The new goal became unseating the Mississippi Democratic Party, which was going against democratic values and promoting racism. To unseat the party, Dumas and more than 1,000 other volunteers set out to register as many people to vote as possible under the new Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party.
Our job was to get up and before sunrise and get out to where the trucks came to pick up the workers who would go out to the cotton field and have them register for the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party.
Even though the movement did not unseat the Mississippi Democratic Party, Dumas says it was a significant historical event because it was the first black and white anti-racism protest.
You know, I wasn't Martin Luther King and I wasn't head of corps or anything like that. I was just a guy who I could read and write and I could register people to vote.
In State College, I'm Megan Swikowski for the Center County Report.
And now if you want to check out more on that story, we have an extended version online where you can watch at centercountyreport.com.
Looking to avoid the lines this Valentine's and still have a good dinner? How about helping the community while you do it? Tomorrow from 4 to 7 p.m., the East Penns Valley Library in Milliheim is hosting its annual fundraising spaghetti dinner. For 2 years, the library has been working through donations after cutting ties with the Center County Library System. Tickets for the event can be purchased at the door.
And 1 week from today, Penn State's 46-hour dance marathon will begin to raise millions in the fight against cancer. Today, reporter Elena Hafner introduces you to one of the families that benefit from Thon, an amazing little boy named Andy.
Nobody wants to research on kids. You don't want to give experimental drugs to kids because we don't want to make them sick. Here we have patients who are not affected by smoking, who aren't affected really by all the chemicals that we ingest as older adults and been exposed to it over our lifespan. Their cells are more pure. And so why are they getting cancer? Why is are kids born with it? Andrew was a normal, healthy baby, big boy, and the pediatrician actually was doing an abdominal exam and he felt a mass of some sort.
Andy Creasy was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma in February of 2011. Hello. He underwent 6 rounds of chemotherapy, had major surgery to remove most of the tumor, 2 stem cell transplants, 12 rounds of radiation, and 6 rounds of immunotherapy.
Very long time for a little boy.
At the end of traditional treatment, he joined a 24-month study taking an experimental oral medication at home called DFMO.
Survival rate for a patient with neuroblastoma was 20%. Now, when Andrew was diagnosed, his survival rate was 40%. It was at least a lot better than it was in the late 90s when most of those kids, they really didn't get treatment. They were sent home.
For the Center County Report, I'm Elena Hafner.
And Thon begins at 6 p.m. next Friday, and we'll bring you more coverage leading up to the event.
Are you hungry? For the first time, the sandwich shop Are You Hungry in State College has added a twist to its yearly Thon food donation. Part owner Chris Mensek says coming up with the fundraising idea was easy.
Last year we were thinking about possibly doing something so we could contribute with a fundraiser, and the idea of doing an eating contest, since we make big fat sandwiches, came to us and we wanted to do what we could.
The cost is $10 to enter. Customers can pick any fat sandwich on the menu and they're timed on how fast they can eat it. The contest began last week and the time trials continue Monday through Wednesday. Contest hours are from 1 to midnight. The top 10 contestants will face off next Thursday night, this time hungry for the $500 gift card. The apartment store has teamed up with Are You Hungry and will match $1 for every contestant who comes through. All profits benefit Thon.
It's great to be back inside and out of the cold because it's been a very cold start to our day. Look at the temperatures in the region right now. We're only in the teens. It's been a bitterly cold day, and as we zoom out for that statewide view, nobody can escape those cold temperatures right now. We're sitting at 12 degrees in State College. We're sitting at 8 in Bradford, 7 down in Johnstown. Even as we look to our east, they cannot escape these cold temperatures. 19 degrees in Philadelphia and 13 degrees in Allentown. Now, I mentioned the gusty winds when I was outside. Those winds really factoring in for our wind chill. We have a wind chill of 0 degrees right now in State College, -7 up in Bradford, -10 down in Johnstown. Even the east, once again, they cannot escape those bitterly cold wind chill temperatures. -8 degree wind chill in Scranton. Now, we're not experiencing anything on the ways of snow right now, but Futurecast is going to show Saturday at 12 a.m. There's some clouds beginning to build in. That's going to be a sign of our next storm to come. Some snow bands going to be moving through the region throughout the day on Saturday, some of which could be heavy at times, but we're not looking at anything major, just a few inches here or there. Now, in the next 24 hours, this is when all the fun begins, all the cold that finally has a chance to settle in. Mostly cloudy for us tonight, 10 to 12 degrees, but those winds out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour, gusting as high as 22. As we move to tomorrow, even though it's going to be 26, 28 with some periods of snow, the wind is going to be the main story out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting as high as 28. So really going to want to bundle up over the next couple of days. And as we look at our next 7 days, our overnight low for Saturday is going to be our high for Sunday, and that is unbelievable, miraculous. It's going to be very cold on Sunday. And as we move into Sunday night, temperatures dropping down into the negatives for us on Sunday. And as we move into Monday and Tuesday, we do get a little bit of a rebound where we get back into the mid-20s. Then Wednesday into Thursday, back down to the 20s teens. And Friday back up to 20, but still going to be a very, very cold week ahead.
I've got to be honest, that cold forecast is just making me want to bundle up in a blanket with some hot chocolate.
Yeah, you know what? If you can resist going outside, I would recommend that, but if you have to, make sure you cover your exposed skin because hypothermia, frostbite, real concerns over the next couple of days.
We're at the point of the year where I feel like 35 degrees, I want to go out in a t-shirt and shorts. You know, it's unbelievable out there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stefano.
Yeah, thanks.
And now let's check in with Josiah with sports.
Thanks, Megan. Next in sports, a former Nittany Lion is looking to secure a spot in the NBA. And with spring just around the corner, we take a look at Penn State baseball as the team begins their new season. Good afternoon. Former Nittany Lion basketball star Tim Frazier's future is still up in the air in the NBA. His contract will expire when the NBA regular season resumes after the All-Star break. He's played 3 games for the Philadelphia 76ers, and his former coach is proud of the fact that he's competing at the next level.
I couldn't be happier for somebody like Tim Frazier to take the route he's taken and go through all the adversity and challenges that he has.
In 3 games, Frazier had 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 26 assists, and Chambers is impressed.
He's the little engine that could, that's really getting them motivated to play defense, and the guys, the young shooters that they have on the Sixers team love playing with him. That's very obvious.
The NBA is in its All-Star break, and Frazier will represent the Eastern Conference in the D-League All-Star game as he awaits his fate with the Sixers. Based on Stefano's weather report, it's hard to believe, but baseball season is here. The Nittany Lions have been practicing inside the warmth of Holuba Hall for the past few weeks, but will step outside and fly to North Carolina for a weekend series with Elon.
I'm jacked up about it. I mean, you know, Elon is, you know, take a look at Elon's recent history in baseball. I mean, they're a regional type team, year in and year out.
Last season was Cooper's first at the helm for the Nittany Lions. Penn State finished with an 18-32 record and last place in the Big Ten. Cooper made it clear that he isn't shying away from putting good teams on the schedule.
I said this from the beginning. The only way you get better is by putting yourselves in those type of environments and playing those type of teams. Because I know for a fact I could schedule enough teams to make it so that we're going to win 30 to 40 games. But does that make you better? No, I don't think so.
First pitch is this afternoon at Latham Park in Elon. The Lady Lions basketball team will host Minnesota on Sunday at the Bryce Jordan Center with hopes of bouncing back from a loss to Michigan State. Penn State played from behind Wednesday, erasing 2 double-digit deficits, eventually tying the game with under 10 minutes left. Missed free throws late prevented the Lady Lions from completing the comeback. Looking ahead, Coach Washington had a few things to take away before Sunday's game against Minnesota.
Some things we got to improve upon between now and Sunday. We've got to take some steps and strides in being able to close out games and playing with a little bit more intelligence down the stretch of the game.
Both Penn State and Minnesota are struggling in conference play with records of 3-11 and 4-10 respectively. To wrestling now, number 5 ranked Penn State will travel to Oklahoma State this weekend in a top 10 battle against the Cowboys. Reporter Taylor Shelley has more.
As many as 17 nationally ranked wrestlers could be featured in Sunday's match for both sides. Penn State is coming off a near upset of top-ranked Iowa last weekend and is focused on maintaining both mental and physical toughness. The Nittany Lions took 4 of 10 bouts against the Hawkeyes. Sophomore Jimmy Gulabon came away with a 3-3 win over Iowa's Corey Clark at 133 pounds. He attributed the win to the atmosphere inside the Bryce Jordan Center.
Normally, like in a match like that, I get a little frustrated after being down and then coming back. I mean, after walking off the mat, it was kind of hard not to smile.
With nearly 16,000 fans at the BJC, the match had the second largest attendance in NCAA history. Senior Matt Brown took on Mike Evans in the 174-pound weight class and detailed the match.
Yeah, after the first period, it was tied 0-0, and I looked over at the coaches, and they were kind of like, this is fun, this is, and they were smiling. So that's something I want to take forward for the rest of the year, just enjoy this time.
Brown's second period escape and third period rideout locked in the 2-0 win. For both Gulabon and Brown, quick decision-making late in the third period was crucial to becoming dominant over their opponent. Like the rest of his teammates, Brown isn't dwelling on the team's loss and cherishes opportunity to face the nation's best.
I think that tough competition does help you prepare for the Big Ten tournament. I'm going to see the tough caliber. It makes you be a little more focused, a little more sharp in practice, I'd say, as well.
The team's development is noticeable, but for Brown, it's now about executing as a unit on the mat.
I think we're taking away that we're close, but we're not there yet, so it's a little optimistic, but also, we can work harder and we can be better.
And that's exactly what they plan to do this weekend in Oklahoma City. In University Park, I'm Taylor Shelley for the Center County Report.
Number 5 ranked Penn State will travel to Oklahoma State this weekend in a top 10 battle against the Cowboys. The team travels to take on number 8 Oklahoma State Sunday at 3 p.m. Penn State's men's hockey team is climbing up the rankings after beating Wisconsin in its first Big Ten sweep at home last weekend. The Badgers also became their first team sweep of the season. Penn State goalie P.J. Musico was named to the Big Ten's third star of the week after 35 saves Friday and 27 on Saturday against Wisconsin. The Lions are now ranked 19th in the nation and sit just 2 points behind first-place Michigan in the Big Ten standings. The team is on an 8-game winning streak and travels to take on Michigan State tonight and tomorrow. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Josiah. Coming up, see what it takes to roar like a lion. The Center County Report got an inside look at mascot tryouts for the next Nittany Lion. That's next. The Nittany Lion has been Penn State's mascot for 111 years. Now, the search has wrapped up for the next Nittany Lion. Reporter Megan Swikowski takes you behind the scenes of the tryouts.
The Nittany Lion mascot made his debut during the Penn State-Princeton baseball game in 1904. According to the Penn State archives, at least 50 men have suited up as the Nittany Lion since 1921. The man behind the mask was revealed during the football senior day, opening up the opportunity for a new mascot to fill his Nike shoes the following year. Backup Nittany Lion Zach Slater says it's an honor to be a part of such a distinguished group of men.
It means to be Penn State University in every way, shape, and form.
Penn State recently held tryouts for a new Nittany Lion in the multi-sports complex. 8 candidates performed in front of a row of judges and packed bleachers.
So it's going to be, a tight race to see who's going to come out with it.
Each candidate went through 3 rounds of tryouts. The first was an extensive application. The second included an interview, and the final round, a choreographed skit, 30 seconds of improvisation, and 50 one-armed push-ups.
It's so much more than just the costume, I think. He really is he brings the life to Penn State.
Once all of the Lions finish their tryout, the judges head up to deliberate. Then they announce the next Nittany Lion to the eager crowd.
The student who we selected, his push-ups were amazing, his interview was really incredible, his application was absolutely unbelievable, and his skit was really good.
It's been a fierce competition today, but the judges finally made their decision. However, it'll be another 2 years until you finally know who the Nittany Lion is. Reporting from Center County, I'm Megan Swikowski.
The new mascot is chosen by previous Nittany Lions and a committee of judges from organizations like Back the Lion. That's all for today's Center County Report.
Have a great Valentine's Day weekend and stay warm out there.